The second generation Acura NSX just ended production. It ended with a bang with the Type S. Luckily, I was able to drive the Type S NSX on Sonoma's Raceway, albeit a little bit scared, of course, in a vehicle of that sort of performance on a track I did not know at all. And Honda has pretty much confirmed that the next generation NSX will be fully electric. But Car and Driver may have stumbled onto what could be the next NSX. Let's get into it. So we're heading over to Car and Driver. Honda Sports Card Spies looks like a baby NSX. One of the journalists or editors here saw this vehicle on their way to get baby supplies at night. Exactly where this is taken shots at, I don't know. My guess would be Michigan. We'll discuss why here in a little bit. I mean, this thing looks very small. To me, it doesn't necessarily scream electric car. You can see a radiator in here. I mean, to me, it almost seems like a small mid-engine car, maybe a successor to the S660 that we never got here in the States. But to me, it seems very disjointed with a lot of Honda's current designs. I'm one of those that hang out in the chat section, hardly ever say anything no matter where I go, but I pretty much read every comment, which is great, and also my downfall when I read lovely comments on my own channel. But checking out Google Street View from this dude, we're over at Honda R&D Americas, which is in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And guess what's sitting inside? It's this little concept vehicle. Okay, so it's not really top secret if it's sitting in a glass building uncovered. And then also in the comment section, someone's like, this concept has been out since at least 2015. If we look at this YouTube video, July 23rd, 2015, this concept shows up multiple times in this design studio. So what do I think about it? I think it's just a concept, and that's about it. There it is there again. And that's at the Honda's own website there. So here's another image of it hanging out in the background of this picture. I mean, it definitely was not the focus of this video that Honda posted back in 2015. They focused more on the current generation Accord at the time. Here's another shot of it. So, I mean, it even has an interior. So it seems like a well fleshed out concept car. And after doing a little bit more soul searching here for this vehicle, I found over at Which Car, this is an article in 2017. And this is a similar concept to that vehicle we saw from Car and Driver. There's also around that time all the rumors talking about the ZSX because it was trademarked by Honda. They're trademarked patented images of the ZSX. It's a hard word to say. I'm glad they didn't even keep the ZSX around. But yeah, this thing looks amazing, but it's not. It's a concept. They said this thing was 3 years old in 2017. It was supposed to have the 2-liter Type R engine in it. So we'll go back to Car and Driver and pull up this image here because Honda has actually showed us what the NSX will probably look like in terms of a general outline. It's much lower, it's much longer, and it has, well, I'm not gonna say it has bigger wheels, but probably bigger wheels. We also have this bar that runs across the front. Now, could you say, does this NSX take some design cues from this? I think that's a possibility because if we look at the wheel arch here that goes up on this front fender, you kind of see some sort of similarities with this older concept here. I mean, there's no doubt they're both mid-engine, not technically mid-engine, but mid-engine style because that is a very aerodynamic and performance output sort of design where you can have the right weight distribution. Now it looks like we have that side gill completely removed on the actual concept here, but real short overhang on both of them on the rear and fairly short on the front as well, which is no surprise for an electric vehicle. But you also see the similarities where it runs from the windshield and it dips down into this front air vent or just an aerodynamic piece here to create downforce. So there are a lot of design cues from this old concept that flow into just the silhouette essentially of this upcoming Acura Honda NSX. So what do you guys think about this little concept, little Easter egg that Honda has really never talked about that I'm aware of? I don't think it's ever been a feature. Otherwise, other people in the comments probably would have been saying, hey, Honda revealed this concept officially, but they never did that I'm aware of. that's a lot of fun just to talk about, but it is cool to also see some of the similarities in that 7-year-old concept be debuted in that EV silhouette for the NSX. All right, we're heading over to Automotive News Europe to round out this video. Honda's cutting production by up to 40% due to supply snags. Honda was already down about 40% on the year in North America. Plants that build the Civic, CR-V, Honda E, Jazz Fit, and HR-V will be affected by output cuts. Now, these are only at Japanese plants, so essentially it doesn't affect us here in North America at all, because the VAT, like 90, I don't know, almost 100% of our vehicles that are Honda and Acura badged come from here in North America. But this also doesn't mean that production hasn't been down here. Sales have been down 40%, not because of lack of demand, but because of a lack of supply. So you could say production has already been cut by at least 40% here stateside, or at least here in North America, because they have plants in Canada as well. They're saying that this is likely to continue into the second half. I don't expect a full rebound or availability sitting on lots essentially for another 2 years. It could be longer. We'll see. This is all thanks to the shortage of microchips and the supply chain disruptions around the world. Honda's assembly plant in the Saitama Prefecture north of Tokyo will slash output by 40% this month. The plant builds the Civic, CR-V, Honda E. I guess the only Civic that we'll have coming from Japan will be the Type R. But the engine, is my understanding, that gets built here in North America and gets sent over there to be installed in the Type R and tested over there as well. 2 lines of the Suzuka plant in Western Japan will cut production by 20% September, which will affect Jazz and Fit and HR-V. Well, we don't get the Jazz and Fit, nor the HR-V that they're talking about. Those are all on the similar platform, or they used to be. I think the new HR-V, the small one, is on the new global architecture, mind you. The Jazz and Fit, I think, are still on the old platform, if I remember right. The HR-V that we get is bigger. It's the ZR-V technically in Japan, and that is built in the Celaya plant in Mexico. Honda's blaming the delays on COVID-19 outbreaks and semiconductor shortages. It's beating the same drum that we've heard for the past, seems like a year at this point at least. They said June had normal production, but the automaker began making adjustments again the next month. Toyota, on the other hand, is remaining super aggressive. They still are expecting to produce 9.7 million vehicles for the fiscal year that will end March 2023. And things might slightly be getting better for Toyota, but if we still look here stateside, they've been down for the first 6-7 months of the calendar year. They've been down about 10 to 20%, depending on which model and make. I mean Lexus when I mean which model or make. But do you think Honda is going to be able to rally the second half of this year? It's not looking good. It's been devastating for their sales here in North America, and it of course is affecting their plants worldwide as well. And the last video, one of the last videos I made on Honda, is talking about how Honda wants to have 2 separate supply chains for production. One supply chain for their Chinese market vehicles, and then another supply chain for the rest of the world, because the rest of the world plays by their own rules, or should I say China plays by their own rules, where the rest of the world has a much more workable ecosystem for the economy. It's always fun talking about NSX, especially with the unknown, with the battery electric. I think they would have to have solid state battery for the next NSX, otherwise it just would be too heavy. So I'm going to end it there. Catch you guys in the next video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more Honda news updates like this. Catch you in the next one, and peace out.